Hey Summoners, welcome back to our channel. My name is Crumbs and I'll be running you through a preview of the preseason. Just kidding, we're talking about patch 12.10, but it might as well be a whole new season coming up because we have massive changes up ahead. This next update is expected to address severe issues with damage by buffing its polar opposite, durability. There's a lot to unpack, so we'll provide you with a quick preview in regards to the next patch. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the full set of changes when they're released, and let's get the video started. First off, we'll talk about system changes. With overall champion durability going up, sustain, shielding, and healing are all going to end up much stronger than before as well. Thus, plenty of runes as well as items are having their stats nerfed to make sure they don't get out of hand. Expect some nerfs to the healing provided by Conqueror, Grasp of the Undying, and more. Lesser runes are no exception, and we'll see runes like Conditioning also face some minor nerfs very soon. A bunch of summoners also need to receive nerfs. It looks like Heal, Barrier, the healing portion of Smite, and even Ignite are up for some nerfs. Overall, however, these changes shouldn't be as impactful as they initially appear, since there should be more base armor and Damar to work off of. For items, the list is close to endless. Not only will the healing from many items be reduced, but also the grievous wounds effects that items like Executioner's Calling provide, and even the HP damage scaling on Sunfire Aegis will receive a nerf as well. We'll also see some other adjustments like reduced penetration and shielding, as well as increased mana regeneration. With more durability in the game, champions that use mana will have to expend more in order to apply the same pressure as before. Next up, we even have objective changes. Ocean Dragon's healing, its Soul's healing, and Mountain Dragon's Soul's shield will all be reduced accordingly. Baron Nashor will also have its stats increased to make sure it remains a challenge to slay. On top of this, it's confirmed that turrets will have their damage increased to ensure that players aren't too trigger happy with dives after receiving some defensive stats to work with. I'm especially a fan of this adjustment. Had it gone overlooked, we might have found ourselves in a very oppressive meta. Certain junglers, especially those who already excel at turret dives, would become far too dominant. That sort of impact would lead to incredible frustration for both junglers and laners, especially after a bad draft. With objectives covered, we're gonna move on from the system changes and talk about champion changes next. There are countless champion adjustments coming up. With the sheer number of balance changes ahead, it's no surprise that many summoners have joked that this is gonna be the new preseason. That said, there are plenty of different sorts of changes coming up, so let me break down a quick preview of what's to come. Riot has already let us know recently that they plan on increasing the base stats of all champions next patch. These universal changes include buffs to base health, health per level, armor per level, and magic resistance per level. Ultimately, it accomplishes the same thing as reducing damage. Players are granted more opportunities to outplay their opponents. By slowing down fights and decreasing the potential of enemies landing a 100-0 burst combo, they have more time to make game-changing decisions in the heat of explosive fights. Aside from stats, there are some direct adjustments to champions coming up. The most numerous are those for healing. Champions like Aatrox and Lily are notorious for the immense amount of self-healing they bring with them. Ally healing, like Soraka, is also up for nerfs, and again, this is because universally there will be more armor and Damar, making each point of health more effective than before. Riot August even chimed in and mentioned that in spite of nerfs to healing, the effect amidst the grand scheme of things, it's that it's going to end up buffed. If any of these specific champions end up over-nerfed, Riot plans on making adjustments in a follow-up patch soon. That said, let's talk about other balance changes. Champions like Nautilus will have their shielding reduced as well as the max HP scaling that comes with it. Interestingly enough, even Victor is likely going to have his Q's shield reduced. Along with the base shield value, the AP to shield ratio is also going to face a small nerf. Allied shielding, like Lulu's E, will also be reduced. While we're still waiting for the final numbers, I expect a healthy number of enchanter nerfs as they're naturally going to benefit heavily from the overall increased durability in the game. Next on the list, we have champions with built-in lifesteal. Stuff like Lee Sin's second W cast and Nasus's passive will have their lifesteal bonus reduced. I'm curious to see how a champion like Nasus performs. With more defensive stats, he'll end up even harder to shut down, and as a result, might end up scaling into the late game much more consistently. The final changes we know about right now are that champions with built-in grievous wounds like Kled and Katarina will also have those effects weakened. These nerfs are in line with the item nerfs to ensure that healing isn't over-adjusted. That wraps up the champion changes and also concludes our 12.10 patch preview. I hope you all enjoyed it. Feel free to share your thoughts about the massive upcoming changes or any feedback you have in the comments below. Make sure to keep an eye on the channel for a full list of changes soon, and I'll see you all next time.